Hi, and welcome to a reading of The First Dimension, written by Matias De Stefano and the I Am, presented by me, your friend and fellow seeker Alex. I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's get into it. The First Dimension. I'm shining. My sun radiates all possible light. Its brightness is immeasurable, so much so that everything around me becomes luminous. The planets reflect so much light that all of them seem to be stars, and the more I expand, the more ecstasy I feel. I am the sun. They are negligible and magnanimous. My irradiation is such that even space seems to lighten. The ranges of my rays expand, a rainbow towards infinity, crossing each other in all directions, making the deep and the dark outer space become clear, whitish, and luminous. I am light, I become it, but I am so much light that I cannot see anything. I no longer see the planets, much less the stars. The colors are so light that I can barely make them out, and they fade more and more the more I radiate. Everything is white, there's nothing, empty. Yes, there's only my idea that I am the light, but there's nothing else there. You're alone. Yes, alone. And what is the only thing you perceive? I perceive nothing. I perceive nothing. Pay more attention. What do you see? I see images. I see the same as when you close your eyes. Flashes of photons trapped in the retina of an eye, or some dust particles that pass in front of the cornea with their strange shapes. It's like dreaming. Nothing seems real. Everything seems just like imagination, because I know they're not here, and yet I see them. They are your projections. What is in me? And that the light that I radiate reflects out like a play of light and shadow. That kind of subtle, imaginative daydream which seems to design the white background is what you naturally possess in you. And that light of your being projects outside, radiating your light, its light. Your mind will seek to cling to what it imagines in front of you, in order to make sense of it in the midst of so much light that produces emptiness. Now focus on yourself. Close your imaginary eyes and observe yourself. Wow, what I see is strange. The lights come out of me, but there is so much in me that it has begun to overshadow each other. The light seems to devour itself as if it could not contain itself. I am no longer a sun. I'm like a black hole, a point surrounded by light. It's like space has been turned upside down and everything that was black is now light, and what was shining is now black, like a negative photo. Photos are elementary particles. They have a zero charge and travel at constant speeds, being generators of all electromagnetism, producing all types of radiation. The same ones can be harmless, like the ones that, when reflected in the objects and from these to the eyes, allow us to see the shapes and the colors. Or on the other hand, they can be deadly, like X-rays and gamma rays, which destroy the shell of electrons in an atom, producing harmful mutations. Although the same, in minimal quantities, produce evolution, which has made it possible for us to exist as humans with our particularities. Photons can behave like particles or waves. That is, in contact with matter, they have a physical body transporting energy, but if they refract or reflect, in other words, when I project from the inside out, what we call fractalizing or reflecting is nothing more than the vibration of my mind that, when in contact with matter, will make the thought come true. The mind creates all reality by its vibration. Now something interesting happens. Space is full of light. It is not black as you see it at night. Yes, space is full of photons traveling at great speeds emitted by every star, by every galaxy. But the distances are so great that these particles take billions of years, billions of light years to get from one galaxy to another. Thus, our eyes are not able to capture them. White light begins to refract on its way to warmer reddish colors, which then cool in the distance, turning blue, and as they scatter further away, giving the impression of darkness. The space is full of light, it just hasn't reached us yet. When you look at the infrared image of space, you'll be able to see many hidden objects, which are so far away that the vibration waves are very low, making it only visible with devices that can capture these waves, which the human eye cannot do. When you enter yourself outside of time and space, the curvature of both causes everything that exists to be related to you. And for this reason, the photons no longer travel in space-time distance, but remain there. always being around you. This compresses all the particles that compose you, generating so much radiation that it destroys the nuclei of your atoms, spending all its energy, turning it into a massive neutron that collapses in on itself, creating a black hole, which consumes all light around it. And that is the origin of all things, generating so much radiation that it destroys the nuclei of your atoms, spending all its energy. Everything arises there. You are Alpha and Omega, and what you see is nothing more than a remnant dream within you. All things return to you, and therefore you become the origin of all things. I understand, I think it's a beautiful paradox in which the origin is within each one at the same moment that we are consuming their energy. And even so, having done so, we will only be generating a new beginning. This is the first dimension, where beginning and end are ends of the same line, and that they are hemispheres of the same point. You can see that the first dimension is explained by a pole, that is, an axis, a line with two ends, but this line is nothing more than imaginary. It is just a human perception of a non-existent sphere. Non-existent is imaginary. So who lives in the first dimension? Are there beings there? Yes, everyone lives there. Dimension comes from the Latin word die, meaning two, and mentio, meaning measure. That is the measurement of 2 points. That is the reference points of the observer towards the observed. The dimensions are not places to live. The dimensions are measures of the same reality. Thus, you live in all dimensions. I suppose then that this week we will visit all the dimensions? Yes, and we will begin with the one that originates all the others. Find it within you. Close your eyes. What do you feel? I search and I find nothing, because nothing is infinite. So you found 2 things already. What things? The nothing and the infinite. And you can only do 2 things from these 2. Create the whole and manifest the finite. So you can get out of this feeling of loneliness. And how do I do it? Moving, turning on yourself, making the alpha look for the omega as if you wanted to see your back turn. And the faster you do it, the image of your back will be in front of you. It's strange but true that eternal movements is what allows me to see what is hidden. The eternal movement is what you call love. When you love the divinity within you, you will move in all directions, seeing the hidden, causing the nothing to become the whole, the infinite to become the finite, the static to become movement. Let light become darkness. Let the alpha become the omega. Why would I want to do something like that? Create the finite, create the darkness. Because a star only shines in the shadow. Because the being manifests into itself in an individual. Because art is expressed in patterns. The question is not why create all this. The question is why not create it. Thus, it is from the first dimension that we create ourselves, and it lives in us, within each point that constitutes us. That's right. You are a limited hologram of an unlimited particle, just to be able to play at B. The beginning lives in you, and it is love that keeps you vibrating. So love, love, and love. I am divine love. Welcome to the Pisces dream.